All right, you guys, just want to let you know anytime you see me kind of standing there not moving, I'm most likely looking at the map. I cut all that out so that you don't really have to watch me try to figure out where to go, but just know that you can look at your map at any time, get your bearings, and figure out where you need to go.
Okay, we need to find a way to Blackrock Processing. That's where Marshall said we'd find a prism.
So we have just encountered our first level 5 door. It's locked, obviously, because we just became level 4 cleared. A couple of restrooms over here. Doesn't appear to have anything in both of them. And I know that I could shoot through glass, but also you can punch your way through it. So I chose to do that to grab this one, even though that door is locked. The great thing I love about this game too is you can break glass, you can destroy the place in a firefight against the hiss, and over time the buildings will actually regenerate back to its original form in its place of origin, how it is now, which I think is really awesome, a really cool feature in this game. It makes the game fun knowing that you don't have to clean anything up later. You're not breaking anything, so it's a huge plus in playing this game and getting into these fights with the hiss. Now, I'm coming up onto an area that is a kind of double-sided two-story area that is very, very intense. My suggestion is probably to kind of stay in this back area where the stairs are, because there tend to be a lot of gunfire pointed in your direction. You can shoot through the glass, like I said, but my recommendation is to kind of just stay here in the back area where you can get behind these pillars for cover and just try to take them out one by one. Don't rush all up in the middle if you don't need to. Just kind of take your time clearing them out from both sides, like I'm doing now. Just kind of going back and forth. Now in this case, I just got hit with that rocket, so I do want to run in the middle and collect some of the health items from some of the enemies that I've killed previously. I did not see that guy. I thought that guy was a ally. Trying to get away here. I realize I can't get through the glass. I bust through it again, and I occupy this right side of this bottom story. The nice thing about having the allies is that they kind of cause the enemy to stumble, like they are with that big one. I believe that was the Hiss Warped that we're fighting with the shield that regenerates. So they're keeping them occupied, they're keeping them busy. You really want to take out the smaller enemies first and keep your ranger allies alive. See, I got two of them alive. So they definitely help when fighting those big bosses or fighting any fight. So there's these side missions right there, research Hiss node. Those are missions that you may have come across. I know we have in the past. They're kind of like those red glowing nodes. They kind of look like that stuff in the center of this map. If you can see once I pan over, right there, that stuff has kind of that illusion, but red. Usually there's like 5 or 6 of them that you have to go around, find in a specific area. They're not all going to be next to each other, and you have to get them within a time limit. Now, I don't really choose to step too far off the storyline path, but later on when I have time, you know, I can revisit some of those missions and do those ones. For the most part, I'm just trying to stick to the story. I'm trying to be very thorough about where the ground that I'm covering, because I'm the type of person who don't like to go all the way back into an area where I've missed something. Now, obviously, you're going to miss things. It's all right. But the way I like to explore is to pick up everything the first time. That way I completely clear that area. But there is always opportunity to go back and collect items.
Glad to see you're still you.
You're fine. We'll push through this.
The hiss of the
Ranger
lungs doing
Squad,
the
Charlie
pushing.
7 returned from an expedition into the quarry threshold.
Now, if you guys remember, Harish is the head of security at the NSC, and he is now down in the maintenance center, and he's kind of overseeing things down here. So
Hey, thanks for bringing down that... whatever the
That was... But we are barely holding on here, boss. How's the situation outside maintenance?
What do I tell him? The truth is harsh, but these people seem familiar with death.
The Hiss are everywhere. Most of the Bureau is lost. We need Blackrock Prism to make more HRAs for any survivors in the safe rooms. I'm here to check Darling's Blackrock lab.
So to recap, death, disaster, and imminent destruction. Another day at the FBC. Well, Darling's lab is just past Blackrock processing. I got good news and I got bad news on that front. Good news is, it's right down the hall. Bad news is, a Hiss monster has decided to move in, so that's great.
Monster.
That's what the Rangers said. The ones that survived, anyway. But we are just treading water here, and the Hiss keep coming. Salvador would know what to do, but apparently he took a security team into the containment sector just before the lockdown happened, and, well, no one's seen him since. But hey, at least we got you, our fearless leader.
They shouldn't rely on me. They don't know me. They don't know how I've failed people.
You've done a good job here, Arish, but you should take your people and get to the base and executive. You can regroup there. I'll go deal with this monster. I'm getting kind of used to them.
Aye, aye, Faden. And be sure to put a bullet in that thing for me.
All right, so Arish just informed us that there's a giant Hiss monster waiting for us in the next room. The only thing I can tell you about this monster is that it's invisible. It looks kind of like a small dragon. It glows when it's revealing itself. It delivers a powerful, powerful punch. If you're up close, you will get your game ruined. The main thing, the biggest thing is that he is invisible. Very, very hard to spot, but he does give off this kind of mirage-y, kind of camouflage scent in a way. You could kind of see him. Most of the time you don't. He's a sneaky one.
Arish wasn't kidding about that monster.
So the Hiss Distorted seems to display characteristics of a female character. I keep referring
You
to
showed
it
me
as a
the chart
he,
when I first got
but
here.
it very well may
I'm
be possible that the character is female. So this Hiss monster leaves like a powdery dust trail. See that dust up there? Kind of look like that. He floats around in like a scent where you can actually see him. This is the first encounter that you come across the Hiss Distorted. He isn't very aggressive, however, I did play this match probably like 5 times before I actually defeated him. He's not to be underestimated. He is very, very deadly up close. My strategy was to just keep him as far away from me as I could and throw random objects in the area where I think he is. But you'll be able to see here in a sec.
They're shattered.
So there he is when you hit him. He kind of does his stumble, but then he flies off and he's invincible. Now, that glowing area right there is what you're looking for. It's very, very mirage-y. See if you could spot it right there. I think. Yeah, so this guy is very tricky. Once I kind of developed my strategy on him, I was able to defeat him and kind of keep him away from me.
Let's hurry up and find Darling's lab.
But when you're fighting other Hiss, you know, you're getting grenades thrown at you, you're getting shot at by Hiss Rangers, and that thing's floating around. That thing is terrible because you don't see it, and up close it will mess you up. So definitely get the cluster, the Hiss cluster out first, and then those guys if they're in the same area.
Thresholds. The quarry is one of the more stable thresholds in the maintenance sector. That's where Blackrock comes from.
You heard that too, right?
Dimensional matter.
Black rock comes from a threshold
Blocking out
quarry.
frequencies.
So the prisms must be there too. This should get us into the quarry.
So some of these videos with Dr. Darling in them I do watch because it can provide some very vital information. In that video was about the codes to the Black Rock Quarry elevator. Yeah, this is his lab, his HRA lab. Manufacturing of the HRA is the Hadron Resonance Amplifier.
Everything here is crazy. Weird, but it feels right. Like how the world should be. I am in an infinite building leading to different dimensions, and I never want to leave. Even with all the horror, I'm happy. It feels sane.
So it looks like we're in this upper area of the NSC energy converters. I think previously we were down one level. Be careful because you can fall off this level. But earlier, previously, we were down there, which I believe was a battery mission. It had like 3 different levels with 3 different waves of enemies that you had to find the batteries and plug in. But it looks like we're up here. And there's a guy down here. I didn't know they can open doors. Oh, and there's another one. I did not see that one. But I believe that I'm going to head out over this direction, and looks like there's another elevator and a locked door. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just... I don't like leaving enemies behind. So I still hear the music, and I'm like, all right, well, let me just clear this area before I move on. And then, wow, oh, there he is. I must have ran right past him.